That's the best comment I've ever had. You're a gloomy little man.
I know, brilliant.
That needs to be the outtake. We have Lee Johnston, the gloomy little man.
Gloomy little man.
They're going to be Hill and they're going to be Hopkins, and they cross the line. It's Hill by 6 thousandths of a second.
The Outside Line Podcast, reuniting your hosts, the legendary commentary duo of Jack Burnicle and James Whittam.
But he's not on the right side of him unless he can do it. Oh, no! Round the outside! Oh, what a move!
Powered by Red Torpedo.
Hello and welcome to the Outside Line, episode 10, folks. We've made it to episode 10. We've made it so far into the year that the Christmas tree's up, for goodness sake. I'm Jack Burnicle, this is James Whittam, and that is Sprout. And we are here, well, it's right near the end of November, so we've into December. So, you know, I'm amazed that thanks to Red Torpedo and Metzler, our loyal sponsors, we are still here. Yeah. So don't forget, keep subscribing to our YouTube channel and you'll find out what winter dates we've got coming up, because we've got a fair few things in the pipeline. And indeed, starting with a first guest today, yep. which is lovely stuff, isn't it? However, looking just back on what we've been up to recently, yep. We've both been at Motorcycle Live.
Although you were a bit of a part-timer, weren't you, Jack?
I was only a part-timer, James, if you must unfairly put it that way. Yes, I wasn't with you during the week, but I did the weekends.
You didn't do the flipping hard slog Monday till Friday, just turned up for both weekends, took the money.
Would it be unfair of me to say that I have a special needs son at home who I
Jack,
felt I had to take some time with?
Listen, during the week, there isn't as many people in terms of people coming into the show as you'd expect as the weekend. And actually, there isn't as many people to talk to on stage.
We had some wonderful guests.
We had some mega guests, didn't we? Fantastic.
Yeah, as well as, the team launches. We even had Rick English and Jenny Tinmouth as stunt superstars from film and television. Yeah.
That was one of my highlights. Jenny Tinmouth, Rick English do stunts for films, stuff you've seen on things like Fast and Furious and James Bond stuff, Batman.
Yeah.
But actually, you don't know it's them, and they showed us the actual thing that went out, the crashes, mostly motorcycle and car stuff, the fireballs. And then they went into telling us exactly how it's done. And to do that safely, can you imagine? I've crashed a lot of motorbikes.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was going to happen just before it happened.
No, you didn't do it willfully.
Nobody told me where to do it. And can you imagine going out, you've got a crash where we're going to put a little dot on the road. You've got to arrive there at 40 mile an hour and high side at that point. That's one of them for me.
Did you notice that Rick had put a sling back on his left arm?
You don't want bumping into it. He's dislocated his shoulder.
He dislocated his shoulder 2 weeks ago, and he said, I didn't want people to be aware of it in case it cost me some work. I didn't want to appear on stage.
When he's in the show, he didn't want it bumping into it, so he put the sling back on to sort of protect it a little bit. Yeah, good people. I also liked MotoGP journo and former TT winner and top rider back a long time ago, Matt Oxley.
Yeah.
He's got a new Marquez book out. He sent me a copy. I hadn't really had a chance to get into it yet. I meant to do that before the show, but it didn't arrive before I set off. And,
Tommy Hill was outstanding.
How good was he?
As Kyle Ride's, mentor really,
and manager.
At the moment, yeah.
Spoke fantastically, didn't he?
Yeah.
So we had some, and we had the usuals. We had the John McGuinness, we had Peter Hickman and Davey Todd, and we had Brad Ray and Kyle Ride. We had all the guests there.
It was a thoroughly entertaining week, as well as some of those team launches like Ryan Vickers and Jason O'Halloran and the Team Honda guy, and McGuinness and Dean Harrison, to whom congratulations, Dino. And
got married last weekend.
Yeah. Gosh, for life.
Well, you would hope.
You hope so.
No, in my case it wasn't.
Let's hope so it is in his case. He was very well turned out. Very well turned out, wasn't he? He looked good.
Which makes a change. So I think overriding thing for me about the show was, or the general feel was, numbers were definitely up. I hadn't seen the figures yet, but they were definitely up from what I saw. My little part of it, our part of it. but also loads to look at. Fantastic BMW stand, absolutely brilliant Ducati stand. They've never made as many bikes, from a 250 motocross, a 450 motocross, a 450 enduro, right through to the brand new Panigale V4R.
And a massive number of manufacturers.
Yeah, hundreds.
Different manufacturers.
Yeah.
Chinese ones, Indian ones,
Chinese
right
stuff-
across the board. And Chinese very decent looking pieces
Yeah.
of engineering
I think so.
at ridiculous prices.
Yeah, a lot cheaper, and they're starting to look really good now in terms of quality. They've got their own layouts now. Instead of it being a Honda, a Yamaha copy, which it typically was with the low capacity bikes.
And a load of kind of retro engineering stuff from all sorts of different.
They've got onto that, haven't they?
Like Dot and people like that. Loads of different people with modern retro-y looking bikes. Lovely designs.
Do you know how we're really pleased about the show? Suzuki have they're carrying on with they've got a new version of the GSX-R1000.
Yes.
Fantastic. It's like the older one in many... There's nothing wrong with the old one. It's brilliant. But they haven't gone daft of making this thing so tricky it's going to win on the racetrack. And that almost makes it unrideable on the road.
Yeah.
And Kawasaki has done exactly the same with the new ZX-10 for 26. They've got a really good, little bit more basic than the V4R Panigale, but still way good enough and more powerful than you're ever going to need on the road or doing a track day.
Yeah.
What they've built is a absolutely brilliant, both Kawasaki and Suzuki, sports bike. A proper sports bike that you can ride up road, that hasn't got loads of whistles and bells you don't need on the road. I think fantastic. And consequently, cheap, affordable. 15, 16 grand instead of high 20s upwards. So I think that's refreshing for me, that.
And also, I did happen to mention Dot in passing, and I have to say that one of my absolute delights was the 1963 Dot Demon 250 motocrosser. As ridden the first time I ever saw him by one of my first scrambling heroes, Ronnie Tate from North Yorkshire. That was a delight to see. That was a great stand that had the modern retro one, some lovely bikes as well, and the old school stuff as well, and a beautiful Mercedes-Benz in the middle that was provided by a mate of yours, apparently, who restores classic cars.
That's his job. Yeah, he takes old cars. He doesn't do anything that's brought into him. He does, if you can find, he does Range Rovers, Mercs, and one or two others, some Jag models, rebuilds them like brand new. They ain't cheap, but you just incredible. It's like a brand new. Even going as far as making the sticker for the air cleaner and getting batteries made that are brand new but look old.
Yes.
The old battery was black and sort of really square looking instead of the sort of modern ones.
Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good week for you and a good pair of weekends for me.
Yep.
What else has been going on?
Really.
Oh, MotoGP. Casey O'Gorman got top 6 in Moto3.
Fantastic. Honestly, we've known for a lot. Casey was really unlucky because remember when they started allowing, 12 and 13-year-olds onto really quite quick Moto3 bikes and Talent Cup bikes, and we knew it was a mistake. And then they realised that and moved. The organisers moved the age limit up a couple of times.
Yes,
he was right in at the beginning of that, but was sort of behind the curve, really. He was always behind the age limit, and now he's able to be in Moto3. He's got his chance, finished top 6, but he's super talented kid. We've always known that.
Yeah.
Everything he jumps on, he can make work. So good luck to Casey. Good luck, lad. And for many people, he's our great hope, really. He has always looked like the man who may do something in the MotoGP paddock. And with a bit of luck, he's going to do.
Yeah.
A lot of people are sort of willing him on from this country, and we know how good he is.
Yeah.
It's been obvious since he was 13.
Yeah.
But actually, people in that paddock are starting to realise it as well. So good luck, lad. I hope you flipping.
So as one British talent enters, another one leaves. Jake Dixon. I mean, just missed the bronze medal in Moto2, moving to Honda World Superbikes. Is it on a 3-year deal?
I've heard it's a 3-year deal, but listen, Jake walks away with his flipping chin up. Honestly, he's won 7 races. Looked like the fastest man on many occasions. There's nothing wrong with what he's done. Yes, the MotoGP dream might not just have worked for him, because it looked at one point, I mean, he got a chance in MotoGP, and I think he acquitted himself really well, but not really for long enough to, you know, it was for a brief time. Looks like, as you said, well, it definitely is the case. He's going to be on Honda at World Superbike, and if Honda put the effort in, I think he's going to be quick. Good on you, Jake.
Mention Aprilia, a wonderful finish to the season for Aprilia. I've always thought Aprilia were like the second raters from Italy, but in fact they've been absolutely on it with Marco Bezzecchi, haven't they?
Aprilia have always been a little compact, but super savvy team.
Yeah.
You know, they've always kind of, for me, I don't know how this is the case, I'm not in the know at MotoGP. However, I see them as punching above the weight somehow.
Yeah.
You see the Aprilia, there's always some older engineers about that kind of know the stuff, you know.
Yeah.
They've been like that for years, even going back as far as 250 with people like Max Biaggi, and they just seem that compact, savvy, getting the best out of what they had kind of team, you know. They still seem like that now.
And of course, Toprak.
Yep.
Leaving World Superbikes and already at least impressing some people straight away on his testing in MotoGP.
Yep, he's tested the V4. From what I hear, and again, I might be wrong, but from what I hear, the V4 Yamaha isn't quite on the pace, and you wouldn't really expect it to be in terms of lap times as the outgoing M1, the straight four. However, Toprak is definitely learning quick. This is the word we're getting, and he's as impressed. The big thing he's got to do is get used to the tyres. He has to get used to the Michelins. He's been on Pirellis, and Pirellis have a really good front tyre. I'm not saying the Michelin isn't, but there's a big comfort zone with it. You can kind of abuse a front Pirelli. You've got a big window of where you get a lot of feel from it.
Uh-huh.
And the way that Toprak rides, I just hope it suits what is a Michelin with probably less of a kind of comfort zone in terms of what you're feeling from the tyre. From what I hear, I've never ridden them, but that's the big question mark over him apparently for many people. From what I know about Toprak, he left Kawasaki for Yamaha, and he was going to never be. Everybody said, he can't ride the Yamaha like he rides the Kawasaki. He's finished. Yeah. Guess what? Within one test, he was riding the Yamaha better than the Kawasaki. They said exactly the same when he jumped on the BM. Oh, he can't ride that. Nobody can. And he made it win.
And of course, he's doing that without his long-term crew chief, Phil Marron, who's nonetheless into the MotoGP paddock with Brad Binder and KTM.
Yeah, that's another unknown for Toprak. Yeah. They've trusted each other and needed each other for a few years now. And
he looks happy enough with the people he's with.
Yeah.
On a road racing side, it's been the annual Macau Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Which, although it plays very much second place to the cars, it's good to see the people still go over there and enjoy it. And the Peter Hickman 810 team had a double victory with Davey Todd, with Peter in second place.
Yeah, Macau's a weird one, Jack. I've ridden that. I did about 4 Macau Grand Prix back late 80s, early 90s. You kind of, the first time you go, you sold it as a holiday race. We don't try that hard. It's all about end of season stuff. You're putting on a show, but actually, you go and you just stick your neck out, and it's kind of a short circuit shape, twisty up and down a hill, but with barriers everywhere. So it's very much a road circuit, really quite dangerous if you want my opinion. But they go, and the roads lads love going. It's kind of an end of season party as well. It has got a sort of party element. It's not a championship like the car race there is.
Yeah.
Bikes are a little bit of a sideshow, but that doesn't mean that the lads aren't trying really, really hard. And David Todd did win it. You would expect him to. TT winner, good short circuit man as well, multiple stock thou British champ. So, yeah, brilliant. Peter could stay with him for about, what did he tell us?
Half a dozen laps, and then the nerve damage to his shoulder kicks in, which he's still hoping to get sorted, isn't he? He's going to have it scanned and looked at again.
More work, more investigation, So it's a good luck to them, which brings us on nicely to our first guest.
without further ado, it's our first Christmas gnome, our first Christmas guest. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the General, Lee Johnston. Good. Nice to see you, General.
And first thing is, Sprouty is a massive fan of Lee.
Yeah,
they like best mates.
Us big men stick together.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
How are you, Lee?
Really good. Yeah,
it's
really
good to see you looking so vibrant and well.
Yeah, I'd say for this time of year, I'm a little bit under pressure, busy ways, but yeah, life's good right now, to be honest.
Bought an house, doing it up, usual thing. Second run you've done.
Yeah, I'd say bought a house. The bank probably owns the most of it. But we're at that point. We're completely doing a full renovation, hoping to be in just after Christmas, and then we can fully concentrate back on the racing side of things again.
And a bit more room round it. Tackle shed, so some of your shite will be.
Yeah, I'm a little bit upset.
I'm going to get a bit of room back.
My storage contract at WAM headquarters is starting to dwindle down. So yeah, I thought it was about time at the ripe old age of 36 to sort of have to have my own storage.
It's funny, you know, for years now, for a few years, I'll come home from somewhere, having been away for a bit, and there's something different about the place. It's always him. He's bought something, left it there, it'll disappear, then something else will arrive, and he doesn't ask anybody. It became that, I don't want him to ask. It just,
yeah, but that's the sign of a good relationship. You shouldn't need to ask for permission, should you? Sometimes if I sell something, he's worried that it's gone.
He hasn't sold any of my stuff yet, yeah. Right, I don't know how much, a lot of people know of you through your racing, TT wins, Northwest, all that kind of ulcers, but a lot of people know you through your social stuff. But I bet a lot of them don't know how badly messed up you were after your Churchdown crash at Northwest in 24.
Yeah, looking at how good looking I am right now, it's hard to believe. Do you know what I mean? The RI helmet did an amazing job, but I think that was one of the reasons why I was so conscious of the YouTube side of things and showing. I know, bud. I know we can't kiss on it. We can't kiss on the television. I was really conscious of showing the world or people that motorbike racers they put these suits on, and we're really, really lucky. Like, we've got an amazing job, but from the public side of things, they only ever see you race. And if somebody crashes, you disappear, and they go, "Oh, he's back again." And normally, before any normal person would be back to their normal job, and they think they're these superhuman people.
Yes.
But no one's ever made a realistic view of the struggles. Do you know what I mean? And James has been through as many as anyone else. So I thought, right, I'm going to actually. I made a cautious point of saying this is not for sympathy. It's not for anything. I just want you to understand when the shit hits the fan. It really hits the fan. This is what happens. Do you know what I mean? And it's not the rider, it's their wife, their girlfriend, their family, or whatever. That's who deals with all these things. So that was Christy, my wife, bless her, she was cautious of wanting to do it early enough. And I think I was still on that many drugs at the time that I sort of just floated along with the issue. And then a few weeks in, I realised, and then I actually struggled more with it the more I come to, because I was that worried that people were thinking, "Oh, I'm sitting here thinking, look at me," or "I want your sympathy," which it wasn't. So, but the amount of people that it blew my mind, like in sport, you end up knowing other athletes, whether they're rugby players or whatever. And the amount of people that I thought really had their shit together messaged me and said like really deep, strong messages. And I thought, at that point then, I thought, fuck it, I'm going to keep on doing this because it's actually helping
other people.
Yeah, and I'd loads, thousands. I still get messages now all the time of people because they click on something on YouTube and they see it. So that sort of then changed. I thought, right, I'm actually helping people here. This is a good thing or what? So, but yeah, the big thing that blew my mind was the fact that people I considered as hard, strong men sent me really meaningful, deep messages, and that meant more than anything, because it's not really acceptable in our sport, is it? You have to be seen to be hard and solid. And it's like it doesn't make you any faster. It doesn't. No, you know what I mean? It's the inner want that makes all them things, but it's a man thing. So it makes me, it's there's probably people, well, there will have been people all throughout your career and years ago that wouldn't. Imagine James had done that 20, 30 years ago. You would have been absolutely...
The only thing I've had that is with, I mean, I don't know, you know, but I've had a couple of brushes with cancer, and I've had quite a few messages from men and women, and old and young, just saying, right, I'm going through it, what's it like? And you try and do whatever you can, but certainly in my day, you would not say I've fallen off my motorbike and I'm struggling a bit here, and there's no chance.
Yeah.
No chance.
Most people don't know this, but I believe I really saved James, because I told him I was going to take all his motorbikes once he did actually, die off and get out of the way. And ever since I said that there, he just got better and better. There was no chance of me getting them nice 250s.
He actually he said, how much notice you're going to get if it's going to go wrong, because I've got to get a bigger van. I'll tell you what, on that, just quickly, he fell off at the Northwest. I know the Northwest. I've ridden there myself, and me and Matt Roberts, who lives between. He lives 3 miles away from me now. Before he gets his new house.
I've only just found out that you and Matt went to see him a week after the event.
So Matt lives in between us. It's like an evil triangle there. Yeah. And he's fallen off. And me and Matt were chatting at a BSB meeting a week later, saying, "Oh, we should go." He's obviously from Northern Ireland, but he's not that near where he's from in Northern Ireland. It's quite a long way to Belfast, Royal Victoria, where he was. So we decided we'd go over, flew over. Just for the day, went to see him not intensive care. We're just about out of intensive care, but it was kind of high dependency, still.
There's a lot of bad people on that ward.
Quite a bad way.
Yeah.
Quite a bad way. So we were in there chatting with him, and everything's great. And he's, and he's telling us all about it. Couldn't remember much about the accident. And then this woman, not in scrubs, just a woman, a nice woman in normal civilian clothes, walks in and just sits down, pulls a chair up, sits right next to the right-hand side of his bed. And we're sort of back a little bit, and then she took over the talking, and she goes, well, how are you feeling? You didn't look like this last time I saw you. And just a weird thing. So we're listening. Clearly she knows something, and we thought, is it a relative? Turns out, she says, oh yeah, well, I was the doctor on call, not at the circuit. I'm on a helicopter, and there's only one for the Northern Ireland area. If you fall off a cliff and you broke your leg, that's the one that'll come. It's like air ambulance, right? It's like around here. She's the doctor on call on the air ambulance, not at the Northwest, and then they get a call, got to go to the Northwest. There's been a big accident. Her first contact with Lee, he's got a screen round him, he's in the road, and he's in a bad way. And she said, oh yeah, you're lucky lad that day. He said, oh yeah, I know, thank you. And I said, no, you're really lucky. You died twice on the way to the hospital, and we had to give you several litres. They call it units, actually, of blood. It's like a pack of blood. And we've only just got the machine it's only just over a year since we've got the money to put the machine in the helicopter that conditions the blood, because it goes off really quick, apparently. Yeah. And if we hadn't have had that, you're done. And then she says, and we got another call at the same time that we figured were just a bit less serious, so we left that to go to you. And if we'd have gone to him first, you're done. And there were 4 or 5 ways he would have been finished if he hadn't have just worked out, and she were one of them. And the weird thing was, it's one of them. I looked at Matt Robertson and he's yelping, she's yelping. And then when 2 hours later, we're outside waiting looking for an Uber to get us back to the airport. She comes past, same woman, same doctor. She stops. Where are you going? Airport. Get in. And she's taking us back to the airport, telling us about this and that. And as she stopped and then we got out and drove away. It was honestly, it was like an angel.
Yes. And
Matt said, do you think her car's going to disappear into thin air about 100 yards? It was just freakish. Yeah. So it was a hell of a trip, that.
Yeah, it was. I met her the year after I went back to Northwest to do some commentary stuff, and her and her family, her kids, she had quite young kids and stuff. They came up for the day with, I think the air ambulance brought them up, but I really wanted to see her, because obviously when she was in there, I do remember everything, but I was like still
bongoed a bit.
Yeah. Not in great form. So I managed to meet her, and luckily my mum was with me at the time, and I was like, this is the woman. And I honestly, it meant, obviously it did, she saved my life, but it was so nice to see her kids and like tell them. I was like, do you realise how special your mummy is and stuff? Yeah. And it was, it was really, really nice thing to be able to do. And I it's a bit weird really, but I love understanding how people do things or think about things and everything. And I said, well, my case was obviously really special. It was a great result and everything's great. But I says, like, what happens when it's the other way? Do you know what I mean? If you don't, and her comeback was really, really good. I thought, she says, Lee, if I'm not there, 100%, they're dying. So it says, if I manage to save them, that's amazing. But if I don't, they were already dead. So it's like, it's not. And I said I couldn't believe that was and she looked me dead in the eye. It was like a straight question answer thing. But it was like, you would have to be like that, because obviously
you couldn't cope with it.
The people that don't make it are probably more than what you do actually end up getting to or to save. So you think, like, coming here talking a bit of shit on a sofa is hard work. Imagine having to sit in the helicopter but they can't even, there's loads of things, they can't give you the jumpers when the helicopter's flying. They have to land.
They have to land twice for you.
Yeah, so they have to land to give it to you. So whatever that does in the thing, like things like this, you wouldn't even. So when they were plotting the route back to Belfast from Portrush, they'd have to avoid towns because they knew they had to land in a.
Yeah.
Wow.
Things that you would never, you'd never think of, would you? Like, that's yeah.
Wow. And then I don't know how much longer when you give me I got a call from him. So he's getting better. He's getting back on a bike, and it's all going to be all right. And then some months.
I think it was about 4.5 months or 5 months, and I started trying to ride again. So he's got that next winter time. So I missed that whole year, obviously. Yeah, it will have been the next winter because I got out just before Christmas.
He's gone to Spain, right?
Yeah.
We're all happy for him, right? I get a call at about, I don't know what, early. On it was Sunday morning. Lee, what the hell? And you get a really early call from somebody, he said, you're going to have to do something, you are required.
Especially if it's me
not
ringing.
a social call, is it? Yeah. What are you doing? I'm in bed, mate. He goes, right. You couldn't get yourself to Manchester, but I broke my leg. What are you joking? He says, yeah, but... No. I said, well, they're not going to let you fly with a broken leg. Yeah, I've told them I've twisted my ankle and they're going to put me on a wheelchair and wheel me on.
So, but my trouble was I went out on my own just to ride because I needed to ride a bike. And obviously the team had finished and I had no mechanics at the time and they were busy. And so I just set off and my old boss's car stayed at Alicante. So I drove down to the track in the car, was riding around, something broke on the bike, R-clip on the brake. Like 1 in 10 million things couldn't have happened. So anyway, I lay on the gravel trap, broke my leg. I was like, oh my God. But it was like tib and fib. It came out through my shin, so it was pretty bad. And got brought to the hospital and they call it nailing it, where they put the nail down the middle of the bone to keep it together. But I don't know if I rang Hutchie straight away or I just thought, who's going to know this? So I either rang him or I rang another surgeon, Mike Hayton, that I know. And I said, is this a good thing or not? And he went, no, because if you crash again, obviously, then it bends. He says, so he says, if you can, get yourself home. So one of the guys from the track day company that I know speaks really good Spanish and English. He come and got me, checked me out of the hospital the next day, and drove me back. No, that same evening, drove me back to the track. I had to pick my car up at the track. Luckily, it was which leg was it? I can't remember. But I just drove with my other foot because the car was automatic. So I drove back to Alicante Airport. I booked a flight, flew back. I put do you know one of them things where you put a bag if you're going into somebody's house and you don't want to wear your shoes in? Yeah. So I put that over my foot and I put my joggers on and I told them in the airport that I'd sprained my ankle. So I managed to blag a little wheelchair and I got through security and everything. Then the flight was delayed by 2 hours. But this time I was out of tablets. I was like, not on good form. And I was sitting I've got a photograph on my phone. I was sitting in the like disabled or elderly row getting on this plane. Next minute, this old guy on the row beside me recognized me and he starts going, all right, Lee, he's a TT rider. And I was like, keep the noise down. I'm trying to like get on the plane without anyone noticing. And obviously my van's manual, so I couldn't drive it. So James jumped on a train and come to the airport to meet me to pick me up in my van from the airport. And then I went in, he brought me into Huddersfield Hospital. And honest to God, there must have been 10 different doctors come out to ask me the same question. They couldn't believe that I said, I took two stomach jabbers, so I didn't get a blood clot though. I was being safe, and they were like, absolutely. They've done me a blood test to see if I'd taken drugs and all sorts of stuff. They were not having any of it. Yeah, but then
you were in a bit of pain.
I was sore.
It wasn't his normal piss-taking jovial self.
There wasn't much talk on the
trip back from Manchester Airport.
Yeah, it wasn't good. But even honestly, in the months between the two accidents, like James did loads and Matt as well. Both of you, but he's did.
Yeah, Chris, you were flipping brilliant.
Oh yeah,
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, she's.
It's racing motorbikes, right? At some point, you're gonna need some help from somebody, aren't you? And you normally, most riders have it. You know, people stand up when. I think,
especially if you choose to go to Spain on your own and get on one and.
But that's the thing. But you do that. You know,
that's the want. I knew I needed to do it, and it didn't happen. And then, but everyone was quick to go, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that." But there was them people weren't willing to go. I'll go with you. Do you know what I mean? So you can't. Well, it's easy to have an opinion when the shit's a fan. You've got to do what you've got to do. It's stepping up before.
Hindsight's handy thing, isn't it?
So it's been amazing, really.
You mentioned a touch of commentary there, and you've kind of even I have seen you on the television doing your little stroll down pit lane at the TT.
Yeah, so the first bit was at the Northwest. I think I don't know what it's like for you guys, but because I'm still racing, or they're still like currently my friends that I'm racing against, the hardest thing for me is that they all still tell me stuff. And I have to decide whether I can say that thing or not. So something will happen, especially at the TT, whether it's like Dean or Mike or something, and it's like this year when the Honda wasn't handling or things like that, and he'll tell me stuff that I know they've tried and everything. Yeah. And someone will say something that would tee that up perfectly, and I've gone, I can't say that. You know what I mean? You can't. And that is that people say is the hardest thing, not swearing or whatever, but the hardest thing is not, because once you do that, then no one will ever want to, as a friend, because they're still telling me as a friend and not as something like that. So you have to respect, because they're trying to do their job and asking for what maybe little bit of average information I have, but you still have to respect their. So that's the hardest part for me. I think I
find this filter admirable, because I don't think I ever had it, to be honest.
You definitely didn't have it.
Yeah, but that's also a quality, though, isn't it? But yeah, that's the hardest thing, I think, especially because if you see, like Dean, I say that where you see him struggling and you can physically see the bike, and I'm thinking there, if I can see that doing that right now. Like, the people at home need to understand how bad this is at 200 odd mile an hour at the Northwest.
I mean, everybody could see that.
Yeah. And when you're doing 200 or 210 mile an hour, believe me, that is hard work. Because the wind's trying to pull you off and the thing's shaking its life. So you're hung on anyway, where you should be trying to have a bit of a rest.
Really, yeah.
And the next minute, then you're trying to get stopped from 200 mile an hour down to 60 mile an hour. So it goes from pulling the thing to death to pressing like mad. So you're actually getting no rest, and then the shaking in between all them things. So it is.
How's it been like getting back to racing yourself?
Yeah, good. It was hard at the start, but only because of like sheer frustration. Like, I don't know, even like silly things. When I was fit to first ride my bicycle again, I thought, right, I'm going to be really happy. I'm just going to get on the bicycle and it's going to be amazing. And I got on it and I was shit and I was angry and I was pissed off. I come back more pissed off than when I wasn't fit to ride it, because I just literally wanted to go straight back to doing
what you did before.
Yeah. And the same thing on the motorbike. It was like when you're a little bit weak or you're not sharp, your brain is still quite sharp. So it sends the information and fucking whatever it's sent doesn't happen, and then it gets into a bit of a shit situation. So the bike, you're even if you were like changing direction, you're a hair second off the right time, and so then it's twice as hard to make it do it, and then you miss the apex and all them things.
Yes.
So that makes it like the frustration for the first 3 or 4 months was, and you can only say that. Well, I'm going to say it out loud, but when you're speaking to people like James that have won a lot, you go racing to win, and some people are happy, like just going racing, just to be there, just to race or whatever. But when you have been lucky enough to win a little bit, that's all your brain's programmed to. But I could turn around to James and go, oh, this is shit. I'm riding around in 15th place. It's like it's a disaster or whatever. But if you say that to the wrong person, you sound like an arrogant prick that doesn't...
15th in a British Supersport race is still miles better than most people. 95% of people who ever race a motorbike, that will be their pinnacle.
Yeah, and I mean that in a, to
nice
not
way.
sound, I meant it in a nice way, but there's only certain people you can, like I could say, and him anyway, but you could say it to certain people and they go, but it'll get better or things will happen or whatever. But if you said it to the wrong thing, you just sound like a arrogant prick that's not grateful to be even...
Sometimes you're jealous of people who go club racing and end up with the best result is a top 10 at a no limits day and they race for 10 years and enjoy every second of it, because you can't do that once. It just becomes about the results, not in a nasty way, but you just feel like somebody's paying you to be there. It's your living. You've got pressure from yourself.
Yeah.
And it's...
I think the only... And in British Championship, nobody cares. Like, there's no respect for anyone, and like people think, oh, he's winning, he's doing well, or he's top 2 or 3, and that's the way the sport is. The only difference is at the TT. Like, if I was lucky enough to get on the podium and it takes a bit of time doing the winner's closure, and the guy in 50th come past, I would clap him past.
You'd still
and I have as much respect for him as who stood beside. I don't know why, but that is the way it is. And everyone there is like that. At British Championship, if you going into Park Ferme, nobody gives a shit about anyone in there. Do you know what I mean? That's a fact.
Not in a nasty way.
No, not in a nasty way. That's just the way it is.
In a more driven way, whereas the Isle of Man, you know what, guy finishing 38th, he's probably not the fastest rider in the world, but he's he's probably mortgaged his house again to be there and bought a bike and put himself out there, and that's a scary place to be. And you always get a...
Yeah, because I think it's so hard to race at the TT, like physically, mentally, and we get pampered to death. Like any top rider gets well looked after. Yeah. So the guy in 20th or 30th that's looking after his own bike, sorting all his own shit, driving his own van. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think that's where the respect comes from. It has to be. Yeah.
The first time I ever spoke to you was in 2008 when you were you must have been a teenager then.
I was only 6-year-old, I think, then.
you were very...
And he's not grown any since.
You were...
Full-grown beard at 6.
It's all that smoking stunted his growth.
You were an angry little Irish 6-year-old.
Yeah.
I just remember this incredibly gloomy little man, very intense, on the front row of the grid.
Yeah.
Which was
Stock
probably the Stock
six.
A championship you eventually won.
Yeah.
But although you only won one race, you had a lot of podiums that year, but you only won one race.
I think...
And you were a gloomy... I never would have expected you to become such a merry little person as you are now, because you certainly weren't there.
Well, it's close to Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
I think, honestly, if you're going to feel guilty now when I say it, like, so when we did that, like, my parents had nothing, do you know what I mean? My dad was in the army, my mum works in a shop.
Yeah.
And my dad literally said at the start of the year, like, we could afford to do 1 year.
I think it was your first year.
Yeah, that was my first year doing
a
British Championship. He says, if you can win, you've got a chance, like, or if you can be at the front, then you might get a ride or whatever.
Right.
And I'm telling you now, you sit in a van with your father from Brands Hatch to Enniskillen when you've had a shit result.
Yeah.
And get a ferry over to Ireland, there's not a lot of talking happens in that van. So as an 18-year-old, that gloomy little man had more pressure than Shaky Byrne that was winning the chat. But that was my brain was like, literally, we were at the point of then, if you got on the podium, you got free tyres. Like, a third was 1 set, a second was 2, a win was 3. Like, even the difference between, at the point, I wasn't even thinking about the championship. It was like, if I get to second, we get new tyres at the next. Do you know what I mean? Things like that there.
Yeah.
So I look back now, or even when I started to do well, and I thought, I'm going to really, because I know what that felt like, and I was lucky enough to make it a job. So now I'm like, I'm enjoying every bit of it, and I'm going to make it last as long as we can. But yeah, I feel for people now starting, because then I was sort of the last of, if you were good enough and had hardly any money, you would still get a ride.
Yes. Yeah. Still make it work.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 years before me, the Supersport riders were getting paid good money at the time, like Sykesy and Cal and all them guys. but then, and a hollering and stuff. And then I was probably the last of the, just scraped through, like 2 years after me, then if you didn't
you bring
have...
your money.
Yeah, and it's been... So it's that really upsets me now, but then other times people will look at me and go, oh, you're lucky with what you've got. And I'm like, it doesn't flow up the river in a bubble. Do you know what I mean? You had to earn it to get it, sort of thing. So,
and what did you get for 2009 as a result of that Superstock 6
I
title?
didn't get given anything, but Steve Rogers at Raceways signed me to do Supersport, and I think we paid our tyre bill, which was like $8,000 or something. Like when you talk about the cost of Supersport rides now for people, $8,000 to us then was still a lot of money and getting over and stuff. But yeah, it was really feasible as to get on a proper good bike and things like that. So yeah, whereas now it's sad in the sense that the sport or whatever, the governing body doesn't, like you go to Spain and everybody's local council pays X amount of money for certain riders and all these things.
There's a lot of reasons for that, Lee.
Yeah.
I think motorcycles are more accepted. Kids riding race bikes are more accepted there. Every village has a kart track. They've got good weather. It's a proper pastime.
Which means, I've got to say, except for the weather issue there, that very much like Northern Ireland loves motorcycles.
Yeah,
it's got a terrific bondage with them, really.
To be fair, there's probably more chance of our government paying a Spanish rider than... We're allowed to say that. If you're from a foreign country and you want funding, come to England. We'll sort your racing career out. At home but when I was growing up, it was like road racing. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't go there till late. But as a kid, like it was unbelievable. Like going to the old. And I did watch World Superbikes and British Superbike stuff, but that was like a completely different. Like we used to go to Brands Hatch for our summer holidays to watch World Superbikes and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And I told Jim I got Frankie Keeley crashed at turn 2 and signed my T-shirt as a kid through the fence. And my mum washed the bloody T-shirt and lost the signature. I was absolutely devastated. Yeah. But I'll never. Do you know when people say to you like, be nice to people because they remember? Like he took the front there. And he was probably raging, and he stood there and signed my T-shirt. Yeah. Can you like that? As
he was a very specific case of a very nice man.
Yeah, which is not normal in motorbike racing.
No. Oh, not at that point.
I know, but like you never think that. But I have thought that the rest of my like since I started racing the amount of time. Well, once my bike blew up at the TT, and I'd had a really crap week. And I was running second in the Superstock race, and it blew up at the end of Sulby Straight. And I was absolutely revving. It was like last lap of the race. And this guy, I was taking my helmet off, and this guy went, "Don't worry, mate, it's a real good spot to watch here." And I was like, if I wanted to fucking watch, and I bought a ticket, I was revving. And I got in the car with someone. They were giving me a lift back, and I said, "You're gonna have to stop and turn around." And I went back, and I says, "Mate, I'm really sorry." Like I says, I flew off the handle, and he goes, "No, it's all right, mate. All my mates told me I was a dickhead for saying it."
You mentioned. Do you think there's been I've seen this coming, going back 20 years. A lot of Northern Irish kids starting racing wanted to be doing the roads, wanted to be Joey Dunlop, right?
Yeah.
Or pick any of them sort of iconic Northern Irish road races. There's plenty of them, and now they don't. They want to be on short circuits. They want to be Jonathan Ray, and consequently, we're getting over and above what a country the size of Northern Ireland should provide in British Championship.
Yeah,
there's loads of them.
It's even more if you knew the geography of Northern Ireland. Most of the racers are from within 40 mile. It's not even of a county size. Like where I come from, no bar Richard Britton. Josh Elliott's from like the next town, but before that there was Richard Britton, and there's no other like within 60, 80 mile from where we are, which is half our country really. But it's like Johnny Reid, Glenn Irwin, Alistair Seeley, all them guys are do you know what I mean? Joey Dunlop, Michael Dunlop, they're all within. It's
that northeastern kind of quarter of the country, isn't it?
Not very far away, which is I don't know, it must be a little thing of what you can relate to. So like everyone's watched Johnny for the last 10 or 15 years, and even Eugene Laverty and the whole lot, all them people, like what we've seen. So I think,
at age, isn't it?
I seen a really good thing the other day, an interview about Carlos Sainz actually, and they were asking him why he didn't become a rally driver. And he said, because his dad was nearly done when he was old enough to understand. And obviously Alonso was amazing. So he says all he could relate to was what Alonso was doing. He says, my own dad was just someone that lived in our house.
I'll tell you what.
Whereas Alonso was like winning world titles. So he says that's why.
Carlos Sainz Sr. could pedal a flipping rally car.
But it's that kid, like he was his son, but he was relating to what he was watching on television and not what was. So it has to be the same thing, really.
So is Maguire's Bridge way over to the western side?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's nearly in Southern Ireland, but it's the northern bit of Southern Ireland. It's trying to where it comes up.
It's probably about 5 miles from the south of Ireland. Yeah, it's close to the border.
And quite near Jossie Elliott.
Yeah, so Josh is from Enniskillen to the next town, maybe 10 mile away. Yeah, he wasn't far away. But yeah, there's no other motorbike racers. Or it's like the Lake District. Really, it's a beautiful place with farmers and whatever else, but no motorbike racers from there.
So how did you manage to become a motorbike racer? How did you get? I mean, did you? Where would be the road racing you went to watch as a kid?
Oh, like the Ulster Grand Prix in the Northwest and all them things with my dad. Just it probably, now you realise when you have a kid, like bless him, he was trying to go with his mates and probably get pissed and have a good time, and there was a 10 or 12-year-old Lee traipsing along and annoying his head but getting brought to them things. And I think probably the Ulster Grand Prix was the most special place to watch, I think, because it was literally like there was only race fans there, whereas if you go to the Northwest, it's a party event and it's like there's holiday makers. There's people go to the Northwest that I have friends that go, and when I was racing, they'd ring me up so they'd know what the result was to tell their wife, because they had not seen a motorbike. They hadn't seen outside of the pub for 2 or 3 days, and they go, right, well, what's happened then? So if she asks me a question, I'm going to at least know, how did you get on? They don't care what I was doing, nothing. Literally go to drink beer and have a good time, So the Ulster is probably the most special for a race fan.
Go on then, Jack.
He's going to whop a stat out here, isn't he?
Well, no, I was intrigued by
how young.
Like I've got first season Irish mini moto champion, so that was 2005. So was it mini motos?
Yeah, so I played football.
That's many people riding motos. It's a tightly fought championship.
Unbelievable. How did they get away with this on this channel? So I started racing motorbikes a little bit by accident, I think would be the easiest way. So I played football up until I was 12 or 13. And I was probably better at that than I was riding a motorbike, but I was like so bloody competitive, I'd fall out with my own team.
Right.
Like if they weren't trying. So like, for an example, like where I come from, or back then, it was still like, obviously religion was a pain in the arse, but like the best team near me was I'm a Protestant, but it was a Catholic team. But I played for that team because they were the best team. I was the only Protestant in the whole team. Right. Just because I wanted to win. So like...
And they didn't mind having a Protestant.
No, they wouldn't care. Like kids don't care. Nobody cared at that age, do you know what I mean? But like, and you talk about it now, it's because it's all that's gone away. But at the time, that was a big deal for, do you know what I mean? People going, I'm like, even you'd get abuse off the sideline about like a religion thing. And I'd be going, I'm not even that, you're giving me stick and I'm not even that religion. But I come back and my dad, bless him, had drove me around the whole country. Like I played for Northern Ireland and my county and everything. And I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. I've got no interest. I was only doing it really because I was good at it. I didn't love playing football. When you're a kid, if you're good at something, you'll keep going, and it's quite cool to be able to.
You're a skittish little, hard little Irish boy.
Yeah. The only bad thing, I was crap at playing away because I got travel sick. So I could only play the second half if we were playing any more than about 20 miles away. But I quit that, and Josh was already racing mini motos. So we went to watch, and you could have a go at I obviously had bikes and everything growing up, but you could have a go as just have a rent a bike thing. And then I was accidentally quite good. And then we bought a bike and did a little bit of racing and won that for a year. But my dad didn't really know anything about two-strokes. So we bought R6 off John Donnan. Do you remember who that is? An ex-road racer who used to own a bike shop and stuff. Did a year of that or two in Ireland, and then come and did the junior superstock, and that was pretty much it.
Second season, second in 2006 in the Irish National 600
Alistair
Championship.
Seeley won it,
Oh, was it Seeley?
Yeah. And then it came to England.
And then third season, British Superstock to learn tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 2007. You had that first sniff of what was going on.
Yeah.
How did you get on during that
we literally did a couple of meetings. I remember that when me and Alistair went to our first time at Brands Hatch, neither of us qualified to do Superstock, yeah. And I say that to people now, can you imagine, like, and he was winning races maybe 4 or 5 after that, we just didn't know the track. And so people come and go, I'm 30th, I'm useless. And like, you're not really, back then you could have been a second and a half off. Like Superstock was deep. It's obviously still really competitive now. But yeah, and I'll never forget, both of us didn't qualify, and like, look what he's gone on to do. Do you know what I mean? So imagine you'd have just started, just went, it's not for me, this, and didn't go back again.
Yeah. So what got you back again? Did you?
I think the fear of not wanting to get a job, really.
Like so
driven many a road racer as that.
Yes.
Yeah, where did your passion stem from? Really not wanting to work. Yeah, it's got me this far. So
yeah, you've been avoiding it.
I think, I love the fact of, you need a team, you need really good people, but when when you put your helmet on, it's you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're the difference of making the last bit happen. So you have to work really hard with your team and set the bike up and all these things, but when the shit's the fan, it's on you.
It's an individual
sport. It's an individual sport.
Absolutely, the reasoning behind our 3-time world motocross champion Dave Thorpe deciding at the age of 15 to become to stick with motorbikes when he'd been offered terms by Queen's Park Rangers, who were then competing with Liverpool for the First Division Championship and had 7 internationals on their books, including the England captain. They wanted to start playing for them, and he had to make his decision then. Do I want to be in a team sport, or do I want to be the man in charge? And he wanted to go with the bikes and just be an individual. Same thing. Yeah.
He's a good quality person as well as someone that's Thorpe is a good guy. But
tell you what, when I've met him a few times in his sort of heyday. I mean, a driven man. As focused and flipping.
You can see that now. Even there's a still determination in a conversation. Yeah. But I think there have to have that bit of arrogance of I'll show you, or that determination, or a little bit of you just want to be a show off. There's a bit of all them things where, because at some point everybody likes a bit of praise or wants to get patted on the back, or some people a little bit more than others, but that's what it all boils down to. You want to do well, and then someone does say well done, and you think, oh well, this is not shit, like it's people are, do you know what I mean? And then you go a bit better. And
in my early racing days, I just thought it was a cool thing to do. I thought motorbikes were cool. I've been brought up with them. I always admired road races, short circuit and roads. I've been to watch TT short circuits with my dad, and I just thought they were the coolest people. It was just a great sport for me. So just to be part of it and compete with some of them, it was just a...
Yeah, but it must have been hard for you, because you had to bat women off before you were famous.
Correct.
And then
I'll tell you what,
people don't understand the struggle that Jim Whittam's gone through.
They don't know how hard it's been for me, honestly.
And it still continues to this day.
To this day.
I can understand this, because I really loved being involved from the sidelines, as a photographer and reporter, and getting into motocross and stuff, and going to World Championship Grand Prix, and eventually it didn't feel cool at the time people used to wonder what on earth you were doing at weekends. I think when you did have a kind of proper job as an art director or something on a magazine during the week, and they'd wonder what on earth all this was about, really.
Yeah, but you were different. You were socialising with genuine people that had real jobs. Me and James have never really had to. We've never really had to explain that conversation.
You never had that burden.
Some of the best feelings I ever have. Winning races is like any sport. Been at a good level and winning at whatever sport or whatever you're doing is obviously a good thing. But actually, when you start to get a little bit of a name for yourself local, nobody cares. A mile from here, nobody cares about motorbikes for the most part. Yes. But then when you start getting on telly a bit and you start getting a few, Huddersfield Examiner has a bit of a thing on you. Yes. And you walk into a local shop and somebody goes, "Oh, you're that bike racer." I used to love that. Not in a stroking ego, but I just don't.
What he actually means is when you get free shit off the back of, it's got nothing to do with how good you are. It's like, oh, do you want to give me that? Yes.
But you know, I used to go to a local independently owned bread/cake and sandwich shop down here, right? And an older lass in there said, "Oh, my husband says you race motorbikes. Oh, isn't that dangerous?" Well, yes, it is a bit really. I like this. And I remember that. And I got on with them that well. They used to put extra stuff in my sandwich until, right, I fancied a vanilla slice. But for a joke, right, she goes, "Want anything else? What a cake?" I went, "Yeah, can I have a venereal slice, please?"
And that did not.
Oh, what? I said, "A venereal slice, this yellow one here." She goes, "Right." And
that's the end of you then.
That was the end of my. I got less shit in my sandwich after that. He might race a bike as a nugget. That's what he is. He's thick. He called it a venereal slice. But I used to really enjoy that bit of it. You know,
it is a funny thing because I can't imagine what it must be like to be like A-list famous, you know, like where you can't go anywhere.
Not good, I don't think.
No, because at the TT, it's bad. Like, and everybody means well, and you have to remember that's like always, that's maybe the only time they ever see you or whatever. So that experience of you being a dickhead is going to be there forever thought. Do you know what I mean? So that's the thing
Ricky,
you have to remember.
The great American motocrosser Lee Johnston used to say that this might be the only time someone out there ever in this arena ever sees me. So if I'm not giving my best, then I'm not giving them good enough.
That's their opinion,
and
isn't it?
I want to be remembered for my best.
Yeah, so I think like at the TT it's hard because there's so many people and everybody knows and but I can't imagine for someone, imagine like David Beckham or someone that they can't go anywhere in the whole world. Like there's nowhere, unless they have a holiday in Mars. Oh, sorry, Sprite. Unless they have a holiday in Mars, they're not going anywhere that somebody doesn't know who they are and they don't have to, because some days you're pissed off and you can't be bothered talking and you don't want to, but you can't, you can never have that.
Can't have a day off, can you?
No. Luckily, there's not that many salmon shops around here that James has to pretend to.
He still avoids me now. What do you think modern state of BSB? What looks like certainly, and you're involved from the inside as well, but you've always got opinions on stuff that's sort of well balanced opinions. But next year, you doing some managing as well as.
I've claimed that I don't want to be called the team manager, so like liaison is like a good word that you don't need to then have a title or nothing's expected of you. But I do all the shit work, organising, like trying to put deals in place with all the
transport
and suppliers, companies that we use, stuff like that. So that's what we're busy doing at the minute. But I don't know if I can be like fully honest, but it baffles me that there's not like more help for teams. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, the team was expected to bring all the money and now the rider's expected to bring all the money to do. But if the rider gets to a level and there's still not a lot of money there, it's like if you were going to set a business up, you go, right, if I'm going to make £1 million, investing 100,000 in is fine.
It's all right.
But if I'm going to invest 500,000 and earn 50 grand a year for 10 years, well, what is the point? And I know you're getting to do something amazing, but you're also putting a show on that's making a lot of people happy. So a lot of people are getting enjoyment of that. So it's the same as, it's people that work on a soap, they wouldn't pay 100,000 to become an actor and then get paid 20 grand a year to do it, would they? So it's the same thing. And they're on the television and even a live performance or someone that's at the theatre, it's all these same things. So I don't fully understand how it's got to this point, or there's not more worry in the fact of, well, all of a sudden, if this money does dry up of people being fit to pay, then the sport's done. The sport's finished.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. And there is obviously money going somewhere. You know, you guys might know that better than me, but there's profit being made. But it doesn't seem to relate to any of the factors where it gets put back into. Do you know what I mean? And it wouldn't be, you don't need millions, but if everyone was getting a small leg up to take the stress off and go, right, well, the show's going good, if everyone puts more effort in and the show's better, we make more money. So then the percentage is better. So it should all be like and that's incentive. Like, you know what I mean? We're not, if everybody had better trucks, better bikes, the show looks better as a presentation on TV, surely that would generate more income for bigger companies that see it as like, because that's all car racing is. It's got more investment because it looks flashier. The racing's shit. Like, who watches car racing really? Do you know what I mean? That's got any knowledge of close racing. Maybe like Formula One's probably the worst racing in the world as far as racing goes.
Absolutely.
But the show's unbelievable. So therefore the advertisement's unbelievable and the companies are there. So how can we not get into that?
Well, do you know what? This surprised me. At the NEC recently, we were interviewing Peter Hickman. Peter Hickman is putting Harrison Desoy and Fenton Seabright on Triumph sport bikes with a young team. Yeah. 3 20-year-old mechanics / wagon drivers. And I said, that's brilliant, that, because bear in mind they're going to be parked in the lowest of the paddock. That's that's an entry level at that. And I said, that's proper sort of lad or mate and lad and racer racing. Go out in a van with a bike and a few tools and, no, you can't, you need articulate. They stipulate
you have to have
articulated wagon. But that's in...
So how can you stipulate that you have to have this, but we're not willing to pay for it?
But we're not going to help you with that.
That's like, That's like saying you need a uniform to come for work, but we're not going to supply a uniform.
Yes. It's just that, to me, is... and that's... a class of racing where literally you could do that out of the back of an Ico van. Honestly. Yeah. Back of a long wheelbase transit, easily, Jack. Yeah.
But even some of the rules, like some of the rules in having to have certain electronics and things like this, I know sometimes the cap rules, but they've somehow managed to make it more expensive for, like when I was doing Junior Superstock, you come with a stock bike, it had the Yamaha electronics, that was the bike. It was probably $6,000 or $8,000. I know everything's gone up since then. But now, to do sport bike and stuff, you have to have a perfectly good little sport bike, take all the electronics and stuff off, buy other stuff, and there's even certain bikes where you can only buy certain parts of certain people and everything. And it's like everybody's trying. It's supposed to be cheap racing for these kids to get. But even then, if you win that championship now, there's no, all right, well, here's the next. This is what you get for doing that. You go, if you got more money, no. Well, if you don't have more money, you can't do anymore, and it's pointless. So unless it is, and maybe I just feel like that because I've come from nothing, and if you're well off, it doesn't matter. But we have to be losing loads of talent because of financial aid or whatever.
Agreed.
There's no.
You've got a lot to thank Steve Rogers for.
Oh, massively, yeah.
By the way, I noticed, if I could just refer back to that 2008, the one race you won was Knock Hill.
Yeah.
But who was winning? But you had about eight other podium finishers. Who was doing the other winning then that year? I can't remember.
Luke Stapleford will have been in the championship then. Luke, there's another Luke as well. Luke Stapleford and Luke Jones.
Luke Jones.
Yes.
Good ride in his day with Luke.
Chris Northover as well. Who's
we know Chris.
Yeah.
We know Chris.
You get him on it. He can talk.
He's brilliant. I've actually said to him, we need to get him. He's fantastic.
Good lad. He can ride a motorbike.
He was working at the NEC this week. He was working at Motorcycle Live this week.
I can't remember if AJ Venter was in it then, riding for Glenn Richards' team.
He was a regular at the team.
Yeah. I can't remember. To be honest, that's a long time ago. The other joy of having a few bangs on the head is that my memory's not so good. But yeah, there was quite a few, and it was like quite close, I think, until because I won it on the last round by being on the podium or whatever. Yeah, so
well done.
Yeah, long time ago. But yeah, it is sad in that sense because now there's no incentive. Do you know what I mean? You go. I don't know. Obviously, they were trying to do that with Michael Laverty or the Moto3 teams and stuff like that. But to keep riders in England, there's no. You literally pay till you get to Superbike, and that will be a lot of money. And then hopefully, if you make it, then you might get a little percentage of that back. So it's no.
Was your dad smiling on the way home?
Yeah, he smiled that time, I think. Yeah, because we had less money to pay out.
You were a less gloomy little Irish fella.
I'd say I was fair and drunk as well, to be fair.
As an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
So, team-wise, same cat team, you're still going to be involved?
Yeah.
With Christian Idden.
Yeah.
on a Yamaha. Is this common knowledge now?
Yeah. All's been released. I don't know when this is going out, but we're actually going out to Spain next week for him to get his first go on the bike. So yeah, we bought all the bikes, spares, everything off the guys at, I don't know if it's called OMG or Nitrous or PCR or whatever. So yeah, we bought a job lot off them. And there's more than there's basically 4 bikes and a lot of spares and stuff. So there's enough to run 2 riders, but as it stands right now, we've just got Christian, and until something else comes along or somebody else is in a position to do something, whether that be with sponsors or another rider, and then 2 of us in Supersport, me and the boss's son Freddie. So it's the same. We're staying on triumphs and stuff, and to do the Supersport again and try and have a go at winning some races again.
Michael Dunlop, MBE.
Yeah.
Looked reasonably smart for him. No rigger boots.
I thought he looked very Irish, I have to say, in the stuff he turned out in.
Yeah, but for him.
I spent a bit of time with him at the weekend, and his whole attitude has changed and everything. Like, me and William were very, very close growing up. We were good friends and stuff, and Michael and that, not as much. We're still friends and talked and stuff, but over the last couple of years, we'd probably talk a bit more. But yeah, he seems a lot calmer now. It's a massive weight. Like, people think that having that start in life is a great head start, but 100% William's seen it as the opposite. Do you know what I mean? If you're born into this amazing, it's like, oh well, you can't not win. You can't not do well. You've got given this or you've got that. Or so I think Michael's obviously carried that for a hell of a long time, and what maybe was perceived as being arrogant or ignorant or all these things was like it had to be, yeah. And you can literally see now he's like, oh well, I've done more than all these people they're talking about now. So all of a sudden they can just go, and not in an arrogant way. It's literally you can see a relief to him.
Arrogant.
No, you can literally see a relief to him. So yeah, it's away from BSB, and that's probably the main factor. And then obviously that Macau Grand Prix just been on and stuff like that, but it's a little bit done for me. Do you know what I mean? Like
really.
There was no, like, even when I can't remember the last year I went, but you had like 7 or 8 or maybe 9 guys that would genuinely be on podium guys, and then at least 5 or 6 or 7 that were in with a chance of winning. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now it's pretty much, when you seen the list, it was either Davey or Mike or Pete that were gonna win the race. Do you know what I mean? And then outside of that, it was like there was no, I don't know, it's a little bit sad, but I think it's because out there that's not classed as an event, really. The car racing happens and the bike racing is just this thing that happens alongside, so it's hard for the fans and stuff to get into it.
You mentioned William, that must have hit you quite hard then when he got killed.
It's funny, people talk about, or when I had my accident, I went to see some people and stuff, and in motorbike racers are a strange breed, and in my head, my logic of theory is that if something bad happens when you're riding a motorbike, we've all signed up for this. So that's it's still sad, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But if that exact same person got run over crossing the road, I'd be absolutely devastated, even though it's the same outcome.
Right.
So it doesn't make any logic in most people's head, but in my head, that's the theory that
it's perfect logic.
It's real. There you go. It's really sad. It is really sad. Yeah. And I remember saying this to a psychologist once, and he goes, yeah, but the person's still dead. I goes, I know they're still dead, but it was the manner of how they got there that makes it right or wrong sort of thing, which doesn't make it any less sad. But I think it was Gary Johnson said it once, like, someone could die on the TT on Tuesday and no one goes any slower on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The lads don't go out and go, do you know what? No, we're not going to go out and ride around a bit steadier because... So it's like literally that's the one.
But also that doesn't mean you don't care and you ain't got any respect.
No. Yeah, but to people outside of it, they would see that. They would think, oh, he's cold or...
Yeah.
And they're not. Like, some of them, there's some of the softest people in the world. I know they're doing a hard thing, but there's some of the softest people you could ever meet. But yeah, that's a hard thing. I think it's just, it will never be understood by people that are outside of the...
Right. Something's going to kill you, Jack, in the end. We're not getting out of this. Nobody's getting out of this thing alive.
No. It used to make me laugh. People would say to me, like, oh, that's really bad, or you shouldn't do that. I'm like, but they would tell you like they're going to live forever.
They're
I'm
not.
like, you're dying as well. Do you know what I mean? It might have made the chances a little bit up or down, but it's like, because you don't ride a motorbike doesn't mean you're going to live forever. You're still, you might die of cancer or whatever, younger than me, but they say it to you like, they are convinced that they're going to be immortal, and it's not going to make any difference.
Everything comes with risks, and it's you have to decide as an individual, and we're not allowed to do this for the most part now. You have to decide on what is acceptable risk for you.
Yes.
Because once you start banning something that's only dangerous to the person doing it, and he's made the choice whether to do it or not, well, where do you stop? Where's the line? Everything's got a risk. So it fucking annoys me that when, but it's not, oh, that's too dangerous. Yeah, but it ain't for you. I'm taking that risk. I'm prepared to accept it, which is, the same butty shop, right? It annoys me now. You're not, honestly, and the woman was brilliant. It's got a tile floor, right? Well, if you don't understand that a wet floor is going to be slippier than a dry floor, right? You're thick, right? You've no risk assessment. You're going to hurt yourself anyway by doing something stupid. So I walked in. The shop's only little, and they've got a massive yellow road cone, basically, that says, and it's got a sort of an image of a man falling on his ass, right? And it says slippy floor. And it's because she says, oh, I says, what, really? It's right in the middle of the shop, having to walk around it. She goes, oh, yeah, we've got to put that out if it's wet outside, because people bring the water in on the shoes, and then it might be. I says, anybody ever slip? She goes, no. I said, right, I'm going to sue your owner. They're only this shop, I'm going to sue them. Why? I said, I'm going to say I tripped over the sign and broke my leg. I tripped over the big stupid thing in the middle of the shop. She goes, yeah, I like that, because I might not have to put it out. But what I'm saying is you have to have your own risk assessment in life. Once that's removed from the individual, it's chaos. And I would never...
Chaos in the sandwich shop.
Do you know, after the cancer thing, but after the second do with it, that you remember, and you'll remember, I thought, well, I'm not scared of motorbikes. I'm not scared of anything dangerous, because that's almost a good way. That's a good way. A dangerous sport is a good way of hurting yourself, not being a numpty or getting an illness. You know what I mean? But it's an individual thing, isn't it?
It is.
And if you decide that motorbike racing's too dangerous for you, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Anyway, I've gone on for a bit of a...
How many TTs have you won?
Just one.
Just the one?
And a couple of classics.
One, I don't know how many classic TTs, yeah. I'm really, really bad, honestly. I couldn't tell you how many Northwests have won Ulster. I've got no idea. And it annoys me a little bit that it's obviously because of my crash to Northwest, my memory is bad. But like, people will tell me stuff sometimes, or they'll be talking about it, and they'll look at me and they'll know that I'm like, I don't really know. And sometimes they look at me and think, oh, he doesn't even care enough to remember. And I'm like, I would love to remember. Like, there's a lot of things that I would love to, but I don't. Yeah.
You know what I'd say as a tip? If you genuinely can't remember, add some on, not take it off.
Oh, right, yeah.
So 4 TTs, right? Several Northwests, Macau, Ulcers.
What would be, of the ones you can remember, what would be your favourite one?
Winning the TT, is definitely the most.
Which TT was that?
In 2019, Supersport race, the first one. And it's a prime example, like, because when Jim says someone that lives down the road, like on my road is just, the average age is probably 65 and everything. And I come home and I was smiling away and I was putting the bin out, and Carol next door, she's like, all right, Lee, you been away again? You haven't been there for 2 weeks. I was like, yeah. She went, all right, sound then. That was it. Like, nobody cares. It's just like, and you think, like, outside of our little bubble of this awesomeness, no one gives a shit. And it's the same as when, I try to explain this to people, when you get hurt, it's even more realistic, like, because obviously some people send you messages and it's great and everything, but like when the shit hits the fan and you're sitting in your house at 3 a.m. and no one it's like you get forgot about really, really fast. Like, no one cares, and it says no one cares if you actually come back or not or whatever. So if you don't have the want or the will or the need to do that, you should never do any of it for anyone else.
Don't do it for anybody else.
Yes. Yeah.
It's but yeah, that the winning the TT is definitely the highlight. And it was bad thing because obviously then COVID happened and stuff like that there. So I had people coming up to me for like 2 or 3 years going, oh yeah, you won the TT, the last TT. I'm like, yeah. So I got a little bit of extra credit for doing it, but then I got obviously missed out on the years afterwards as well.
Yeah.
So it was frustrating. But yeah, that'll be obviously winning that is the highlight of my career.
Who did you beat that day?
Who was on the podium with me? Hillier and Hickman.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good names.
Yeah, they were both decent guys. Actually,
That's
this is
very
really weird. James Hillier sent me this photograph this morning. Don't know if you can put this on. It came up on his timeline. It's of me, him, and all the kids sitting in the winners' enclosure at the TT. That's random. That's yeah. So my little boy Jesse and his 3 kids are sitting. He sent me that this morning, actually, just as a reminder on the...
Nice bloke, isn't
He's
quality
lovely,
person.
Quality man.
I'm going to try and get him on. He lives a million miles away. He's like South Coast.
He speaks really well, James, as well.
Brilliant.
But he's just... So we come back from...
He'll be away to Dakar.
Yeah, so we flew back together from the wedding on Sunday morning early, both slightly hungover. And I was going to paint my kitchen and James was going to put an engine in his Dakar bike at Paul Curran. So he was stopping off there to put the engine in before then, taking the bike to the house. And I think he's bringing it, they go to Barcelona or somewhere to get shipped off.
That's
to.
very good, Barcelona, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that he's been really busy with that the last few the last few weeks, yeah. Good quality person.
Good bloke.
James
Nice
Hillier.
bloke.
Talking about quality people, I've got some Lee questions here from listeners.
Can we filter these out first before we?
I'm just going to go with it. There's 4 of them. Let's go with them. Well, first one is from James Robertson. And it says, does Lee feel guilty that he took James's commentary job away from him? TT commentary job away from him?
No, not at all. Because they've somehow managed to send me out into the wilderness and witness boys going past at 200 mile an hour when James is in the studio giving out proper facts.
No, it's not. Do you know? It's not. There's no direct clash because they've got Lee quite rightly because he's brilliant at it in a slightly different role. And if you've nicked anybody's job, it's Steve Plater's probably.
Oh, I don't feel bad about that one bit.
Oh, the problem is because Steve Plater used to do that, getting in and out, of the, getting out on track and.
I honestly, because I do swear a little bit. And I'm sure they've done that to me just to try and get to... My mother messaged me. She's like, how on earth can you sit and watch this and do this? And she said, you've not said one swear word. And she says, every other word is a whatever.
How can you do that, Lee, you little bastard?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sure they did it just to test me. But it was hard. It's a lot harder, I think, than people understand.
Yeah, I thought you did a great job.
Yeah.
We had we were in the booth because you're there for the Isle of Man. You're there for a long time. Race gets delayed 2 hour day. They never say go home. We'll put it on tomorrow. Yeah. You're just there all day, and he's out on circuit, and he's somewhere waiting for somebody to come through the bottom of Bagara, whatever. And we could hear what we got hours of you just talking.
Well, I thought actually like using the public to practice was a good way. So out of all sorts, and then obviously everyone would spot you, so they'd be beeping and waving. And I had 2 really good camera guys, like they were a really good laugh. So although it was shit getting stuck out there, we made the most of it. To be fair.
It's really good though, because what you did really well was say, right, they're going to come down here, they'll be running against that wall there, then they're going to tip in about there's a big bump, so just watch the way, so you got a real...
Understand. Well, I don't know the name of the corner, so I just have to sort of say, well, I know loads more now. Well, since I've seen Steve's track map, he's got a good description of corners and names and everything. I've learnt loads more off Steve Day than I ever did riding it around the TT for 10 odd years. I've
got credit to James. There's a bit more to it, and I'm sorry that I didn't realise. In brackets, it says, seriously though, both are great commentators on the telly, very knowledgeable and entertaining to listen to, close brackets. The real question is, does he think, that's Lee, does Lee think they should bring back a production 600 race at the TT or equivalent bikes of 600s in essentially stock brackets stroke road form?
I don't think they can, because the class was dying with just Jap bikes. Do you know what I mean? There was only the Honda and the Yamaha really that were on a ZX6, sorry. And they've had to bring all these other, like the Ducati and the Triumph and stuff. So if they were all in stock form, well, the Ducati's probably still the best bike now, but it would be far better because it's not getting controlled on the electronics and stuff. Right. So they have to massage the electronics and the tuning of every bike to try and make them as a leveler. So the only way they could do that would be go back to proper 600. So you'd have a CBR 600, an R6, a ZX6, GSX-R 750. Well, a 600, yeah. So
back in my time at TT, they had every single manufacturer, especially Japanese, would build almost identical layout bikes, power. Yes. They were all striving to have the best bike, but you know, one year the Honda might have a bit of an advantage, then the next year the Yamaha, and the models were coming out the whole time.
Yes.
They had a production A, which were unlimited, so GSX-R 1100s, and they were stock. You had to have everything on, indicators, horn, everything, lights. You couldn't, no tuning, no suspension tuning, nothing. So Yamaha have a Genesis 1000, you know, FZR 1000. Then you got a production B, which was 750s, which everybody did them, RC30s, GSX-Rs, FZ 750s, and then a 600, and then a 400 4-stroke or 250 2-stroke. And they were all full, every single class, because everybody had a bike.
Yeah.
But now it's impossible.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
How can you put a
You wouldn't be fit to do it, yeah.
V2 Ducati out with a 600 on, it ain't going to work, is
Actually, it says in brackets, there are a lot of very capable lower order riders that can't afford full factory V2 Ducatis or full Supersport tuned 600s. So a class with standard bikes and rules like the 600, like the Super Stock 1000 class.
Yeah, but that's the way the stock class is your best.
Yeah.
Like when I was going road racing, I know I'm quite big in stature, so it's easy for me to ride this big bike, but a super stock bike at my age was like the best chance of being on the same, because a stalker's a stalker really. There's whether it be a factory team or whatever, they're pretty much all the same. So like my first podium at the TT was on a super stock bike and things like that, and even at the Northwest the same. So that's your best chance at having a level playing field, and it's the cheapest class really. Super stock is by far.
And he's dead right. The when it was a production class and every manufacturer did produce an eligible bike, they were packed because of that. Cheap.
Yes.
You buy a motorbike, you put your key in, put some fuel in it, turn it on, off you go. And it was really well attended, them classes.
The next question is a much briefer one from Andy Ryder. It says, question for Lee, will Christian be sharing his Go Faster bell with you?
Oh, yeah.
Toby's bell.
Yeah.
He got a little, so Christian's little boy, Toby, has a little, he had a little ring
bicycle
bell.
Yes.
Yeah, bicycle bell, and they had it on the...
Acid.
They had it on the thing, yeah. Bless him, he comes round to my camper all the time, Toby does, but he never says hello, Lee, or anything. He just goes, is Jesse there? My little boy. He doesn't even try and hide any facts. He comes straight in, and all he wants, and once he knows he's not there, he's like, thanks, see you later, and goes back out again. But yeah, really good. He's a really good kid.
He said they had Christian. Well, I mean, we work with Christian a little bit. Christian's a great bloke, and he's giving his dad. He says, "Can you put that on your bike? And if you ring that, that'll make you go faster."
Yeah,
that's what he says. So when he won at Assen, he came into the park fair and went ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
For his kid. So, yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
And then I've got Jose Calvas says, any advice you'd give young riders wanting to get into road racing?
That's a hard one because there's ask your mum and dad first of all because you're going to need their support. I think the big thing for me is like if you can get like a mechanically sound super stock bike and just go and do laps, because this whole thing of, because most road racers, we all have a super sport bike, super twin, super bike, super stock, and if one breaks down and you get stuck out there and everything, so literally the likes of the TT, you probably need a super sport and a super bike to be allowed out in two classes. But I would say just get a super stock bike and just do laps. Put petrol in it. Don't go and try and tune something or have things go wrong. Like make the bike a little bit, because you're not going to be winning anyway, but less fast or less competitive, but runs and safe, and just go and learn and actually enjoy it.
Good, nice one. And finally, from Kyle Winter. Now then, lads. Sounds like you, James.
That's a
Now then,
Yorkshire
lads.
ball, it's out of it.
Questions for Lee. What are you doing next year? I presume you're staying put. And also, how is the house move shaping up?
I'm definitely staying with the same team, with the Soundcat team. And the house move or reno would be shaping up a lot better if I could get... James has just finished one himself for his lucky daughter, so I've not had any work out of him. So I'm hoping he's going to step up now that he's back from the bike.
I'm having a rest.
What?
Have you finished Ruby's
Yeah,
yet?
but his place is fairly substantial. Ruby's house, it's tiny. So
Yes.
they're all little... I mean, we did a lot of jobs, but they weren't big jobs. But it's done now, yeah.
There's some big jobs awaiting you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm saving all the big ones for
Shaylee.
when he gets his energy back. But yeah, it's going good, and we're just trying to get it teed off before Christmas and then concentrate on racing and everything.
To be fair, Lee's pretty good with building. He'll have a go at anything. Tiling's brilliant. He can actually build. And he'll get stuck in, do groundwork. But
Who did that beautiful tiling in your bathroom? I meant to ask you that. In your
Me.
house here. Did
yeah, I don't
gee,
mind
Dan.
tiling. I'm a reasonable
Wow.
tiler, but
That's
I can't do
nice.
it quick enough to make a living. He's actually tiled for a living at
Lick and
times.
stick, bang, bang,
Oh,
bang.
Yeah, bang, bang. But also, he's one of them that because he can do certain things reasonably well, he'll just say he can do anything, right? So if you ask him, yeah. So we've got a 10,000 square foot building, a big shed. This is a big shed. It had aluminium sheets on the roof that had been on there for 40 years. The structure of the building was brilliant. But the sheets, every year, some would blow off and we had to go up in the middle of the night in his flipping underpants trying to flipping... Anyway, we were going to re-roof it, right? So we'd got the brand new steel box profile sheet. Like, we had 20 grand worth of blooming sheets, screws, sealer strips, edge pieces, the whole lot. A cherry picker, and me and my brother-in-law who lives next door at the airfield and his mate, and we don't really know what we're doing. We're going to take one roof off. We don't know whether to start in the middle and go out, or whether we're how to line it up, and we don't know what we're doing. We've just got the materials and a bit of enthusiasm, but we're scratching his head. So
Enter Lee Johnston.
a rag lady says, "You don't know anything about putting steel sheets in a building." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I used to do that." That's what he said. He said, "I'll come up."
I seen something once, and the
4
boy was
days,
like,
got it done.
how did
Unbelievable.
you learn how to do so much? And he says it's because when you're skint, you have to learn. You've got no other options. Rich people don't need to learn anything, but when you're broke. But yeah, do you remember, this is another funny story. When I was doing it, it started raining, so we had waterproofs on, and the sheets are obviously your certain shoes stick really well.
Yeah.
But I spun around or whatever and slipped. But once my ass hit the sheet, the waterproof
Plastic
trousers,
tag.
I
my
took
God.
off.
Oh, right. It's
And I was
off.
like, the side of the building, it's quite high. And well, it is high. So anyway, I'm passing him down the roof, and he's in absolute belly laughs
He's off
at
like
me.
a sledge.
Oh, flat out, straight out off the edge of this roof, on the ground, like grunting and rolling around the ground. And he's laughing. I was like, I can't believe you. I said, I could have broke my neck. And he goes, oh, I knew you were all right. I was like, you were laughing before I'd even got off the roof. You didn't know I was all right before I'd even fit the ground.
It was I don't know, it was that, and he hit it at about 20 miles an hour as he went off it. But it was onto grass. I'm not cruel.
But there was one of the pilots came up, and I did do steel acting as a kid, like for structure, like buildings like that. So once you get back to used to walking on the beams and everything, you don't really pass, even though you're quite high up. And one guy stopped and he was like, "Is he safe up there doing that there?" And James was like, "Do you know what he does as a job?" Like, no,
He just live it. The danger part is all right with that. Right, so, we know we're all Red Torpedo people. Now, you have been for some time. You've done adverts for them. You've done all sorts of stuff. Has Jack ever looked?
I was going to say, it's a known fact that Ruby used to take James shopping once a year. So for a 2-week period, he would look fresh.
Shut up.
Yeah, look. But
cool.
since we've had the guys, and they've actually come here before, we've done some
they've done the
shoots
shoot
here and
here.
stuff.
Yeah.
So as a little thank you very much, we've got, so James now looks good all year round. It's a fact.
Yep.
Just because of Red Torpedo, thankfully.
You've got your own range out?
Yeah, they do all like my personal merchandise and stuff, and it's something actually that
nice.
I'm quite interested in, because I think when something's got your logo or your name on it, it should mean something. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
your
mean?
interest have it look good, innit?
It should have like your opinion. Like I know it's fair enough. Some people have no interest, but it does interest me, and I want to. Like I've seen people wear it in the pub and stuff, and they have no idea who I am, but they've just went on and bought I want it to be a T-shirt that you could wear to the pub, and if someone was into bikes, they would know. But if they weren't into bikes, you still looks like you're wearing a cool top or a T-shirt. You know what I mean? Not this thing with a load of listed of bloody names on or whatever. So the guys there that do all the design work, Robin and stuff, they have a really good understanding of that. So yeah, the stuff's amazing quality, and the only downside is, right, the quality's too bloody good. So I think they're doing themselves out of sales because people don't need a new hoodie every year because it lasts that long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, but no, it's really good. And they're good people.
I'm actually wearing 2 more red torpedo layers underneath this because it's actually this is the warmest we've been for a while. This is rather lovely.
You can tell that if he's asleep, it's warm. He's a cold dog, him.
Oh really? So he has been asleep most of the time on Lee's knee there.
He's coming home with Uncle
The
Lee
turncoat,
again.
look at him.
No.
Turncoat.
Honestly, sometimes I have to check my van when I go to set off. He'd be in the
he'd be in there.
Yeah.
Gonna come live with me, Sprout? Yeah. He loves my dog as well, though.
Yeah, Lee's kid Jesse comes up, and he's got a little dog that's like a little. It's a schnauzer, and it's a girl dog.
Yeah.
Right, and they're like best mates. It's all right. He's
got no damage.
Don't worry about that. They say they take after their owners.
He's like his dad. Yeah, but he loves Jesse as well, doesn't he? He literally just walk everywhere he comes here, and they just walk around and just mooches along after him. You look like a big dog beside him, don't you, Sprout?
Really?
Well, I'll tell you what, we knew this would be good. We knew it'd be good. I mean, I knew it would anyway. I spent a little bit of time with him. We know how funny you are and how popular.
Even after his that's the best comment I've ever had. You were a gloomy little man.
I know, brilliant, isn't it?
That needs to be the outtake. We have Lee Johnston, the gloomy little man. Gloomy little gnome.
Have you thought about having a little notice on your clothing? A gloomy little man.
No, it's been really good, boys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Lee. It's been great.
Have a good Christmas.
He's up. Sprout. Look at me.
Paddock PA, powered by Metzler Tyres.
Well, we've got to thank Lee. How good was that? He's a nice man, isn't he?
Lovely little fella.
He's good, yeah.
All 64 kilograms of him.
And 4'6". Little, but like a normal man, except smaller.
Yes, that's right. Scaled down. Here
we go, Paddock PA. Well, I'm going to get in first, Jack. First bit of Paddock PA isn't on here, because it's mine. Right, if you're looking for anybody's looking for a really good track day, low numbers, great instructors, including Lee and Christian Hidden and Joe Talbot and Max Cook and others, including Dan Linfoot. Low numbers on track, good instructors, various circuits, dates are out now. Just go to jameswhitham.com, they're all there.
Upcoming events. Safe and Sound Toy Run, Saturday the 6th of December, Derby. Meet at Power Slide, Rainsway, Derby DE21 7BH. Meet at 10 a.m. for a ride out.
Yep, actually, Power Slide Motorcycle, big Suzuki dealer, good shop. Good place to go anyway, to be honest. Right, next up, Roughless Christmas Run, Sunday 7th of December, Stockport meet at Tesco. And that's Tiviot Way, Stockport, SK12BT, 11 o'clock. The ride out sets off from there, from Tesco's.
And another, in this case, Unwanted MCC, I love that, Unwanted MCC, Annual Toy Run, 23rd year, Sunday the 7th of December, that's in Burton-on-Trent. Meet at the Marstons Club, Shobnall Road, Burton-on-Trent, staffs DE14 2BG. 9 o'clock registration, 11 o'clock ride out.
Well, somebody wants them if they've been going for 23 years.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Next up, the Wicked Wheelie Christmas Toy Run, Saturday 13th of December, Thetford, Norfolk. Lee Fredericks Fisheries.
Now, Fendix Fisheries, it says.
Have a look. Oh, yeah, Fendix Fisheries.
What's a fishery doing in Thetford? That's hardly by the river or the sea.
Well, it's a fish shop.
Oh,
got
okay.
various
Okay.
fish shops all over the country.
Yes, indeed. Sorry.
It sustains many people. Right, so leave Fendix Fisheries, Methwold, PE33 9GP at 11:30 a.m. To head to the Academy Suite at South Green Park, Dereham, where the Nook are holding a Christmas party for our local foster children. So we are going to surprise them and turn up with lots of presents and all dressed Christmassy-like.
Oh, nice.
What a good do that is.
Yeah.
Do you know what? All them Christmas runs, I'm sure other people do it, but motorcyclists, can you imagine? It's going to be freezing, but they still want to get out on the bike.
Yes.
It's like these blood bikes. They're all volunteers.
Yeah.
But, you know, brilliant.
Yeah, the man who runs the Wednesday night quiz at my local pub, the Mags, is a blood bike man.
I'm convinced them blood bike people just want to impersonate police, motorcyclists.
Oh, are you?
And scare motorists. Anyway, go. You're next up.
Next up, two-wheeled support ride out to Alderhay Children's Hospital, 14th of December, Liverpool. Meet at McDonald's Car Park, Edge Lane, very close to my heart here, Edge Lane, Liverpool, L13 1AD. 11 o'clock meet for a 12 noon ride out. My daughter had her third major operation at Alderhay. Wonderful place.
Right, next up, the Dragon's Back RC. So I'm assuming that's Dragon's Back Riding Club. But anyway, it's a club, I think, and it's their Christmas toy run. That's Sunday, 21st of December. Chesterfield meet at Spire Leathers, Unit 8, Chesterfield Business Centre, S41 9BN. That's a 9:30 meet for an 11 a.m. ride out.
Blood Run EVS Christmas Raffle, Cleveland and North Yorkshire. Check Blood Run EVS Facebook page out for the link. And finally, annual Santa's on a bike ride to Little Harbour in support of Children's Hospice Southwest, Saturday the 6th of December. Meet on North Road, Lee Mill Industrial Estate from 11 a.m. to ride off at 12:25, stopping at, it's like a train ride, stopping at Ivy Bridge, 12:30 p.m, Saltash, 1 p.m, Liscard, 1:45, Lostwithiel, 2 o'clock, Parr Market, 2:15, Charlestown, 2:45, and on to Little Harbour Children's Hospital for refreshments, hot soup and bread rolls. What's
Tell you
not
what,
to
you're going to
like?
need a hot
You're
soup
going
and
to
a
need
bit.
some refreshment.
Do you know why they
by
do
then.
that? Do you know why they do that? I've been on runs like this. They do it so that you can join in and leave wherever you want and be part of it, even if you don't want to do the full run. Yes, it makes it
right.
I've
So
done loads
it
of
is like train stations.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, that.
Listen, thanks once again to Red Torpedo and Metzler Tyres. We really appreciate your support this season.
Hey, Jack.
And
right on cue. It is
right
little
on
Metzler
cue.
tyre.
Right on cue, Sprout is relaxing and resting in
Oh,
his
carry on.
Metzler tyre. If you want to support our podcast and look for some top quality gear, use the affiliate link in the podcast description to shop for some of our favourites from Red Torpedo.
Yeah,
just in time for Christmas.
Yeah.
Perfect. What could be better?
Christmas presents, good gear.
And don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Please do get in touch if you'd like to sponsor any segments within the show for future episodes. You can get in contact via our email at theoutside-line-podcast@gmail.com. Continue to send in your questions as well. We love answering them.
Yeah, actually we do. Now people are used to it, getting some really good questions. So
Yeah. So with that, I'd like to once again thank the General, Lee Johnston, for being with us. Thank you, James. And
General's
thank
had to go. He's getting ready for Christmas. He's got the sleigh to service and all the rest of it.
Thank you, Sprout, who's now comfortably relaxed in his tyre.
Tell the people who's on our next episode.
Our next episode in time for Christmas will be the British Superbike champion, Kyle Ryde. It's mint as well, not to be missed. We'll see you with Kyle Ryde in the very near future.